All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual who is competing at Oktagon 85, which transpires on March the 7th, and was initially supposed to take on Elias Jakobi, will now be taking on a different individual. Tomáš Cigánik will be stepping into this one, and great having Denis Frimpong on the program to talk a bit about the change and cover a few other topics. But first off, how are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's obviously been a turbulent last couple of days, but yeah, it's the fight game. It's mad because on Monday I actually spoke with my teammates, and because he had a pullout as well recently, and I said to him, "Yeah, I've never had someone pull out against me during a camp. My issue is usually getting guys to sign the contract to begin with for a full camp.
Yeah.
But usually when they sign the contract, I don't know what it says about me, whether I'm just not a scary guy or something, but guys tend to make it to the fight when they sign to fight me. Or maybe it's because they know I'm going to absolutely abuse them online if they don't. So, so yeah, I don't know. I suppose I jinxed it. So I did that. And then, yeah, he pulled out literally the next day. Um, yeah, it is what it is. So we've got a new opponent now. I believe actually a better fight. I believe actually the fight that I wanted beforehand anyway, you know. So yeah, it worked out for the best. You know, God's the best of planners. So we have a good fight on our hands now, a striker's delight, a fan-friendly fight. So
Well, it's really cool because I imagine there's a certain amount of stress and tumult and just general uncertainty when an opponent pulls out this close to the fight. But glad that you not only got a replacement opponent, but from what you described, sounds like a better one, even. So, yeah, it seems like things worked out in their own way.
yeah, it was definitely like yeah, like I said, turbulent last for 48 hours or so. With them offering me to guys, obviously on like 12, 13 days notice. Guys are saying no, um, can't make the weight, not ready, whatever it is. Then some guy said yes, he had visa issues, and then there was a lot going on. They were thinking about moving me to the Poland card 5 weeks later. I said no, I can't. I have like family responsibilities that weekend, and it was just yeah, it was turbulent. And obviously, in the meantime, I'm still having to like train and like stay in the mindset of I'm still fighting next Saturday
Mm-hmm.
and still have to go and do like a dark sprint session or like still have to go and show up to do my skill sessions, knowing that I might not be fighting, you know. So yeah, like it puts you in a different headspace. But yeah, I'm happy with how it played out. I'm happy with the opponents. It's one that's probably been coming for a long time. Me and Thomas, you know, we've both fought. I think we've both fought two of the same opponents. So he fought Peter Gabal and he's fought George Staines. I've also fought George Staines and Peter Gabal. Um, and yeah, like we fought on the same cards before. He's fought on the Irish regional scene. I don't know if you know that, at amateur. He used to live in Ireland. So when I was making my amateur debut, he was like kind of winning titles, amateur titles on the amateur scene in Ireland. Um, so it's one that's probably been coming for a long time, and yeah, just now's the right time, I suppose. Both of our records are 7-3 officially. Um, we're both like I'm just ranked. He's probably just touching near the rankings. It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
And that offers a wealth of insight too, because I was gonna, I guess, ask something kind of in that vein of like, oh, well, you probably prepared a very specific way for your prior opponent, maybe not as much time to familiarize yourself with this new foe, but it sounds like you're quite familiar to say the very least. So incredible backstory piece that you just added to that one as well. Like I had some awareness of that as well, but great for people who, might not have been privy to that piece. So yeah, a lot of narrative depth to this one. It would seem like both of you kind of in each other's orbits a little bit.
100%. We have been for a while, like I say, and we're actually kind of cool. Like he's one of the guys in the division that I kind of get on with pretty well, and he's a gangster, man. Like I can't actually like normally I'm the first to chastise my opponents for whatever
Hmm.
like I can find, but now he's a gangster, bro. To sign the dotted line to fight me today, he's dying, So what, like 10 days out from the fight?
Hmm.
Like not a lot of people are willing to do that. Not a lot of people are willing to sign to fight me on 8 weeks notice, let alone 10 days. So yeah, he's a gangster, man. Um I give him that, and I know he's gonna come to bang. He's gonna come. He has nothing to lose. He's coming in on short notice. He has nothing to lose. I'm the one coming in with a full camp. Um, I'm in the rankings. He's just outside the rankings, like I said. So he has everything to gain from taking this risk and nothing to lose. Um, all he has to do is make a good account for himself. But I do believe that I'm levels ahead of him, as I am levels ahead of everyone else. And I believe I'm going to show that, and I'm going to be the first man to finish him. I don't believe he's ever been finished in professional. He's just lost decisions. So I believe I'll be the first man to finish him and make a statement once again.
And you've talked about it a couple times in certain regards, like the banter component and just kind of enjoying the trash talk, whether it's like online or just in like a media situation. Just that idea of the banter being a fun kind of piece that kind of plays into the whole fight dynamic. Does it feel like a great deal different this time, being that you're facing someone who you don't necessarily have that, I guess, instinctual kind of dynamic whereby you would want to trash talk them? Like, does it feel like a different kind of dynamic and etc.?
Yeah, the level of respect for him is definitely a lot higher. As I said, A, he's just like, people don't see a lot of the things behind like a late pullout. Like I've spent money on my camp, I've spent money and time away from my family. I've spent weeks where I'm up in Manchester. I live in Birmingham, so I stay up in Manchester for most of the week. I'm away from my little boy, I'm away from my wife. I spend money traveling up and down. I spend money on food. Do you know, like all these other things, like and sponsors that have paid me for the camp and helped me out with things, and that's a big help. I have a load of people coming over from Ireland, from the UK, have bought flights, got hotels, bought tickets to the event. People in Germany that are fans of mine bought tickets to the event to see me perform. And this close, it's like fucking hell. Then I'm not even gonna go out and be able to do it. My thing, they're gonna have to get refunded. I'm not gonna get paid. So it's like I have a lot of respect for him because he's jumped in and he saved my fight basically. Um, so yeah, I have big respect for him for that. As I said earlier, big respect for him for even taking the fight against me on such short notice. Um, it's definitely a different dynamic. But on the night, in the cage, there will be no respect. I'm coming there to make a statement. Like I said, I'm coming off the back of a loss. He's coming off the back of a win, and I'm coming there to take what he's got. And that's just a simple fact. And then we'll shake hands afterwards like men, and we'll go back to being sound again, and maybe he's been saying about wanting to come train in the UK and stuff like that in the past. So he can probably come train and we'll be able to train together, and that's fine.
No, that would be a cool dynamic for sure. And it's kind of within the same vein that we were talking about the online bantering piece and stuff like that. And I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't get your thoughts on it because you're interwoven in a certain amount of that with Paddy Pimblett. And it seems like you came out of that kind of viral encounter with this, like, oh, I got a lot more people kind of being aware of what I'm doing and I'm still on my path, etc. But just to, I guess, serve the idea of talking about that recent Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett fight because I feel like some people really, I guess, lamented their perception of there being a lack of technique, like maybe a sloppy kind of fight. Whereas it seemed like some people were really giving Paddy his flowers, I guess, for showing a level of valor out there. Like, what were your overall thoughts on that UFC
I
324 fight? Yeah.
I mean, it's a historic card, first ever card on Paramount. Obviously, Dana White has come out and said, yeah, bonuses are changing, fight of the night, finishes, all changing. You get more money for fight of the night now. Um, I think Paddy wanted to go out there and not just, he didn't come out there just to win. He came out there to win in a particular way and also entertain the fans. It wasn't to his detriment, maybe, yeah, but I rate him for it. I think it was, it was like you said, there was a lot of valor in it. Like, would I have done that with the belt on the line? Probably not. I probably would have just done what I could do, win boring, you know, fucked off the 100K bonus for the fight of the night and just got the belt. You know what I mean? But no, I rate him. I rate him for it. He didn't shoot a takedown till like the last round, I think. And he probably should have. Justin obviously came out with a good game plan. He has a good team behind him as well. Yeah, you're talking about two guys in the, the very peak of the division. The top five. Justin's been around the block. He's fought the who's who. He's always going to be a tough test. But yeah, I rate Paddy for the performance, and like I say, he got a fight in the night, and it's his first loss in the UFC, a decision loss to Justin Gaethje isn't exactly anything to be embarrassed by. So yeah,
No, it's just cool because you're a ranked lightweight in Octagon, as you kind of mentioned a bit before and stuff like that. And just, yeah, I mean, could put together a good body of work going forward here and facing someone who you obviously respect a lot and has like a strong pedigree behind them and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, you could find yourself in your own lightweight title shot scenario if you put together that good sort of run and stuff like that. So it just seems like exciting times for, I guess, that European MMA scene in general and just MMA overall, I guess.
100%. I think like especially not just Europe. I think the UK scene and in specifically in the UK in the northwest, like the northwest of England's just different to the rest of England. I think obviously everyone up there considers Southerners pretty soft. Um, I think the further south you go, the softer you get is the opinion up there. Like, but yeah, the Manchester, Liverpool at the moment are just doing big things. Obviously, you've got Lerone fighting in probably a title eliminator against fucking what's my
Movsar
boring one,
Evloev.
Movsar Evloev
Mm-hmm.
in London. Obviously, you've got like Luke Riley on the co-main. He's just coming up in the scene, but you've got Shem, you've got Paddy, you know, you've got Louis Scott who's coming out of Manchester top team as well. You've got like Curtis Campbell, he's coming out of Liverpool also. Just a massive wave of guys coming out of Manchester and Liverpool at the moment. Obviously, Lewis McGrillen in the PFL, um, Atiba in the UFC as well. It's just yeah, that the scene up there and like the level of training that you can get between Manchester and Liverpool is crazy at the moment. Like I think it's like obviously in American and like North American terms, being an hour away from each other is like you're basically in the same town, right? You're basically in the same city. Obviously, there's a bit of a rivalry between Manchester and Liverpool from football days and stuff, but on a global scale, it's such a small place. It's such a small area, and to be producing that many fighters, you got Tom Aspinall as well. How do they even miss him out? You know what I mean? He's from like sort of between Manchester and Liverpool area as well. Michael Bisping obviously would have come from that same area. Like, so yeah, so I don't know. There must be something in the water up there because everyone just knows how to fight.
Yeah, that Lerone Murphy fight is a very intriguing one. I mean, obviously you have a certain level of, I guess, proximity to him in a particular regard. So maybe there's like a inherent bias piece that some might see from that. But what are your thoughts on that Movsar Evloev fight coming up? That would seem like a big one in the UFC's featherweight ranks.
Um, I believe he knocks him out. I think momentum is a hell of a thing. And Laron's had momentum building all the way up to the his last fight with Aaron Pico, short notice, knocked him out with a spinning elbow, one of the KOs of the year. And I believe he's knocked out Evloev in sparring in the past. If I'm not mistaken, there was a video floating around out there where that was posted. And I believe he was knocked out in sparring. I don't know where it was in Thailand or where it was, but yeah, so we'll see on the night. But I do obviously, like you say, I have a bias. I believe Lerone will finish him, um, or at least just clinic him. Like it might go into distance, but it'll be a shutout. But yeah, I think Lerone's fight IQ's one of the best in the world. Like I'd put him up there with the likes of DJ and John Jones and stuff like that. Like in terms of fight IQ, it's his biggest attribute. So yeah, I can see him just absolutely running through Movsar and then fighting Volkanovski for the belt like he deserves to.
Yeah, it's just such an interesting time for the weight category. And I'd be curious to maybe get your thoughts on this a little bit because I was talking to two division Octagon MMA champion Will Fleury towards the end of last year. And he was talking about how there was a bit of a rise and fall in a certain way in terms of the public perception piece that some have with mixed martial arts in Ireland, with like Conor McGregor's general
Yeah,
arc in life kind of serving as like a
yeah,
microcosm of that changing media sentiment and just general public sentiment, I suppose. What are
yeah.
your thoughts on that as an Irish fighter?
I don't think that's a microcosm. I think Conor McGregor and his, rise and fall, I suppose, in the public eye is a macrocosm of MMA in Ireland because, being honest with you, before him, like the MMA scene in Ireland was absolutely tiny. Since him, it's gotten massive. Um, but because, like, when you think MMA, forget about Irish MMA. When you think MMA and you speak to people that don't know MMA, or you tell people like I'm an MMA fighter. Oh, is that stuff Conor McGregor does? Do you know what I mean? That's what they say. So he is like such a symbol of MMA that yeah, especially in Ireland, that when these things come out about him and his behaviors sort of lead people to think, oh, MMA, that's what MMA fighters are like. Like that's like what people perceive us as. And it's hard to sort of defend ourselves because MMA fighters are semi unhinged. Do you know what I mean? Like to pick a career where you fucking get in a cage in your underwear, like nearly naked, and you punch another and kick another guy in the head, elbow another guy, try and rip limbs off. It's pretty brutal, you know? And
Sure.
then like people watch that and then they see him outside of MMA and they're like, that's what MMA fighters are. Like they're just fucking crazed animals, basically. Like fucking back to the human cockfighting days, of the politicians that would make statements like that. So yeah, it's marred a lot of the viewpoint of us trying to get MMA recognized as a legitimate sport in Ireland. It's marred a lot of the people's perception of MMA. But fuck it. Like I want real fans anyway. I don't want fair weather fans. I want fans that are like I love the hardcore fans, I love the guys that know what they're talking about. The hardcore fans will always love people who put on good fights. You don't have to be this clean cut guy like you're coming out doing like footballer interviews where you're media trained and you're like saying all the right thing. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think we had a good game, and I'd like to thank my coach. And, like I want to be able to say crazy shit. I want to be able to say what's on my mind. I want to be able to talk about satanic, reptilian, pedo rituals that are going on islands around the globe. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have to, cut down on what I'm talking about. I like the fact that MMA is like the last safe space in the world where you cannot really get cancelled. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
So, did you have any particular thoughts on the whole? I mean, you mentioned the Paramount era earlier in the context of the Pimblett headliner fight. Like, there was that recent story going on about how Paramount cut Sean Strickland's microphone recently after his
I
Fluffy
disagree with
Hernandez
it.
win.
I disagree with that because he actually, in a weird way, they if they'd have cut him off after or during the pre-fight press conference, I kind of would have got it. The post-fight, he was just talking about a real, like, actual grooming situation. Like, we need that highlighted. Jim West is a nonce. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need that highlighted. Can we just, like, let's not just brush over that and pretend like that's not happening. Like, because I didn't know about that. I went and did a deep dive after I heard him talk about it, and I was like, whoa, that is a bit weird. So I don't think he did anything wrong by highlighting the fact that Jim West is a nonce. And it's weird that they cut him off for that, considering like he's definitely said some way more outlandish shit. But yeah, I mean, like I said, look, you've still got bleeding what's his name, Bryce Mitchell fighting in the UFC. You know what I mean? After what
Mm.
he said, so it's like I said, it's a safe space. It's like the last, you know, MMA and comedy are like the last places where people are like, yeah, just let them say whatever they want. They're crazy anyway, you know.
And I guess to your prior point about, just bleeding more into the hardcore fan sentiment and maybe how some people have that like idea that MMA fighters conduct themselves a certain way. It's like, I guess that's kind of the cool thing about the Octagon fan base that I've heard from other fighters that I've talked to. Like they have a very like passionate fan base that almost just kind of looks at Octagon as like the thing. Like in terms of over there, they would almost be like, oh, UFC is that kind of like Octagon, like people on the European scene. And I think
Mm,
that speaks volumes.
mm. Yeah, I think Octagon definitely have like an Octagon fan base, like you said. They're very the fans are very big on promoting their local guys. Um, they love the Octagon shows. I mean, Octagon have all this merch. Octagon have a board game. There's an Octagon board game, so it's like that's the level of fandom you're talking about. Um, yeah, yeah, and deservedly so because they put on a good show. In terms of production, I haven't been to any other MMA show in the world, like, where the production level's on the level of Octagons. And obviously, I've never been to a UFC show, embarrassingly, but I've spoke to people who have, and they said in terms of production, it's up there with the UFC. It's like par with UFC production. They fill out stadiums, arenas, 20,000, 15,000. They're doing a 60,000 seater stadium in Frankfurt later this year. I'd love to get on that. So yeah, they're doing huge things. They are huge in Germany, in Czech Republic, in Slovakia. So um, it's healthy. It's healthy competition. It's good to see that like there's not just one place where you can go to make a career. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think sometimes people are like, I don't know, especially in the last couple of years, there's like some almost like oversaturation discourse with MMA, or some people not being like as high on it, or just a general like lack of enthusiasm piece almost. But if people in that kind of space aren't watching Octagon, I would encourage them to check out those shows because they've such like a vibrancy and a relevance to the sport piece for sure. And I feel like Ryzen's doing great things as well, just to kind of toss that out there. But yeah, no, it's a great time for the sport overall, and it's great getting to talk to you, man. I do want to be mindful of your time, though. I've kept you for a little bit here, so I figured I'd give you the floor, Dennis, if maybe you had a final parting thought to add as we're wrapping up here.
Yeah, final thoughts. Just catch the fight. It's going to be a good fight. Like I say, me and Thomas is going to be a fan-friendly fight. Two rangy strikers. He's like I said, he's going to come into that fight with like nothing to lose. He's going to come guns blazing. I'm coming in there to kill or be killed. And yeah, it's going to be a good fight. Catch it on the 7th of March on Octagon TV and RTL if you're in the German area or if you have a VPN. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Shout out all the sponsors as well for helping me get to this point. Shout out Octagon for matchmaking this and pulling this fight from the clutches of being cancelled and making it happen. And fuck Elias Jakobi, you bitch.
Well, there you go. Great parting thought. And Octagon 85 going to be a great card, and cool to see that your bout was still locked in, albeit different opponent. But getting that opportunity to showcase the skills all the same, and I'm excited to take that in, man. So again, thanks for coming on Bowks Talking Bouts today, and looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down. But until then, have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you.
Nice one, Dylan. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on, yeah.